Fresh out the box!
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Fresh Out, the podcast, the number one podcast featuring three guys that don't know that much about anything. I'm the board game guru, game master extraordinaire, Jahananan.
It's me, Casualty CDG, co-host of Fresh Out the Box and Fresh Out the Podcast. That's where we are here now today, where we talk about stuff and things which I heard you like.
Gary proving right there off the bat how bad I am at doing the impression of him. When you have the real Gary, there's just no comparison can be made. I am the professional media and movie mastermind, the Funhouse, Drew Munhausen, and welcome to episode 125 of Fresh Out the Podcast, an episode all about, you guessed it, Xbox time, boys. And it's the summer video game announcement season. You know, rest in peace to E3, the traditional show that we all once looked forward to
Rip
as
Dog!
Kids, teens, even as adults.
Boo, E3, boo.
The phoenix that rises from the ashes kind of comes in the form of some digital shows and streams over the summer season. We got Summer Game Fest, starts June 7th. There's going to be some fun announcements there, I'm sure, although the organizer, Jeff Keighley's already been pretty active in speaking about, like, asking fans to lower expectations or keep realistic expectations, which I get it, because gamers in particular, I feel like, can sometimes be, let's just say a little unrealistic. And then as part of Summer Game Fest, we, of course, have our beloved Xbox Game Showcase, as well as an Ubisoft Forward, where I'm sure we'll get more details about, like, Star Wars Outlaws and more. And then just last week, Sony held a PlayStation State of Play, where the general consensus from fans was kind of a resounding meh. The highlight of their show, I don't know if y'all kept up with this, one of the highlights of their show was Astrobot, which is they're kind of elevating the PlayStation Astrobot little robot mascot to having his own fully fleshed out 3D kind of Mario style platformer. That actually, it really looked great. Like, it looked awesome. But otherwise, the announcements were like God of War Ragnarok coming to PC, Until Dawn coming to PS5, which is like an almost 10-year-old PS4 game. There's a Silent Hill 2 remake that looks okay. And then there's way too much time spent on this game called Concord, which is like an Overwatch clone that really failed to impress anyone, at least from the comments that I've seen online. Nintendo will inevitably...
Overwatch clone coming out that anybody cares about is that Marvel one.
Marvel Rivals?
Overwatch clone.
Yeah.
That looks pretty good, dude.
Looks
it's going to
pretty
be hard
good.
to tip that scale.
And they
coming out
actually
with anything else that's an Overwatch clone right now, you're just...
SOL.
You know what I mean? You're up against competition you can't beat for a few years.
And at that PlayStation show, they actually did have a Marvel Rivals trailer that announced a few more characters. Like, I think Venom was revealed in that one. I think Adam Warlock was part of that reveal, and a few others. And from what I've heard, those that played a beta recently, is the reports coming out of it are pretty good. There were some news stories, I don't know if y'all saw, that there were apparently people that were given review codes or early access codes of the game had to sign an NDA to, like, basically not say anything bad about the game or compare it negatively to other ones. But the thing is like, I listened to some podcasts of people who played it where they got a code through somebody else or, like, didn't have to sign that, and, like, they were positive on it anyway. So, they were like, I don't really understand why they had to do that, because the game's pretty fun.
It's been, like, people have been streaming it on Twitch now for a few weeks, so it's just been kind of floating around. So people have seen it and people have liked it, and the opinion in the community is that it's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, I'm not big on those Overwatch-style games, but I'm enough, in the camp of Marvel. I'm like, I'll play the third-person Marvel Overwatch. Like, I want to play that. That looks fun.
Same.
I'm going to put, like, 100 hours into that and be one of the best people of our entire friend group, no doubt.
And I'll be right next to you, being mediocre.
100% you will.
Yeah.
Lee will be around somewhere shooting people.
Lee will carry us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The only other big thing is Nintendo will inevitably have something coming up, I would think, this summer. They've been pretty transparent that they're working on the Switch successor and that they'll have an announcement on that before the end of their fiscal year. So we'll hear something about that, probably before the end of 2024 calendar year. Everybody originally thought it was coming out this year, but it sounds like they had to push it, and it'll be maybe early 2025 is when the next Switch, the Super Switch, whatever you want to call it, will come out. But there's nothing dated right now on when their, like their big E3-esque, or Summer Game Fest Nintendo Direct will be. But of course, today we're going to be focusing on Xbox because, of course, we are. We like Xbox. We talk about Xbox a lot, and I think that it's clearly the big show coming up amongst Summer Game Fest that people are really looking to. I feel like the runway is set up for them positively with the response to the PlayStation State of Play being a little bit lackluster, or as the kids say, mid. But this, Xbox has a chance to. Don't just let me be old, John. Just let me be the old man.
It was pretty chuggy, man. Pretty chuggy.
We are not in his camp. Don't put us with him, even though we're with him.
But yeah, so I thought it would be kind of a fun exercise to you can sit and theorize on what they're going to show and so on. And the exercise I proposed to both of you was maybe we do some predictions, but in 3 categories, right? The first being the layup, an announcement that it's like barely even a prediction to make this guess because it's like almost guaranteed to be shown at the event. And then a bold prediction, something you're a little bit less confident about, something that might be kind of cool, but also just still somewhat realistic. And then, of course, the out there prediction, the dream prediction, the thing that like probably would never happen in a million years, but boy, if it did, you would just, be over the moon for this kind of thing. And that was the categories I thought would be fun to kind of focus on here. So let me ask you this. Did you all do your homework?
Yeah, I think so.
I just answered it immediately in the messenger and didn't think at all because honestly, that's me. You know what I mean? That's just who I am. You're lucky you got an answer, I think.
Well, I know you're bold and you're out there ones, but I think your layup was left blank when you initially sent it.
No. Yeah, I did come back around for my layup. So let's just start there. I'll just start by telling you what my layup is.
Yeah.
So my layup for the Xbox show is a Forza thing. They always announce a Forza DLC or another Forza game. So my layup is a Forza thing. I'm going to say, I think it's, Forza 6 that's out right now. That's like the high definition one. That one came out last year. There's probably going to be some DLC for Forza 6 that none of us care about.
Don't they do a Forza release every year? I know that you've been the Forza guy recently, so Forza 6 was the most recent one. Was
but
Forza
I'm not
Horizon...
sure if they're going to do... Horizon 5 came out. It did come out 2 years ago, and so we're about due for another Horizon, but I just don't think it's I'm not sure if they're stuck on a yearly release. They think they sort of happen to be on a rotation, but I'm not sure if that's something they're married to.
I know they do kind of alternate between the Horizons and then the regular motorsport games.
Yeah, the Horizon ones are open world. They're really arcadey. You can like smash through trees and drive off-road stuff, and the other ones are much more like Gran Turismo. You're on a track and it's a real racing simulator. So I like the arcadey one.
So we're on track that the next full release game would be a Horizon game. It's just not clear if that's going to be this year.
Correct. I don't think it would be this year. I wouldn't be I wouldn't be like, oh my god, I wouldn't be mind blown if it was, but I just don't think it is. I don't, for whatever reason, I don't think Forza's like, I don't think they need to print one every year like they do Call of Duty.
Right.
And Madden. Yeah.
Well, and I think that you're in the right zone here with just thinking, even if it's just some sort of DLC or announcement or something regarding Forza, because I don't think I could tell you the last annual Xbox game showcase that didn't have Forza present.
That's what I was thinking. There's always a Forza thing. It's so for a layup, I thought I would go easy. It's not because I'm playing Forza. It's because it's Xbox's racing title, and they're gonna say something about their one racing title.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I'd say that's a pretty good layup. Fits the category well. Jahan, how about you? What's your layup?
I'm a little less sure about my layup, but I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure that there's got to be something Activision Blizzard releasing. Not because I necessarily think it's definitely going to happen, but it should. They haven't done anything with any of these companies that they're acquiring, and they need to put something out. So I would expect some sort of Blizzard announcement. Maybe it might be something lame like World of Warcraft release on Xbox or something, which could be cool, but I mean, I played that game like in high school, so like I don't know how excited I'm going to be for it to come back out.
Yeah, dude, that should have happened. That should have happened when
Like 10 years
Blizzard
ago,
went to
yeah.
Xbox. Yeah, well, yeah, it should have happened 10 years ago, but it definitely when Microsoft bought Blizzard, it should have been like within a
Day
couple
one.
months. That should have been
Yeah.
done. Yeah, at this point, that would be a dead project, I think. I'm right there with
The
you.
Dragon
Like,
Feet,
good,
man.
thanks-
I want
Thanks
to.
for the 20-year-old game.
Yeah, I want to see something good with Warcraft or StarCraft IPs, like a StarCraft FPS or something. Like maybe they resurrect the shelved Ghost game from way back when or something like that. But I just
With the success of Helldivers, it would be cool to see a StarCraft title where you're playing Terran and you're against, Protoss on one side and Zerg on the other.
Yeah,
just
man,
a copy with a skin swap.
yeah, StarCraft friggin' FPS or third person game where you're fighting hordes of enemies. That'd be sick. I'd be totally into that. That's my layup. I think that they have to do something with it eventually, and I think now's as good a time as any. Although my feelings about it are a little wounded by the fact that you said they told us not to get our hopes up, which is a stupid thing to tell people.
That was more for Summer Game Fest, though,
Okay.
at least, which is more of like the indie studios. And
So we can have our hopes up for this one? Is that what you're
I
saying?
think I think the Xbox One is the exception to the rule, maybe. Although I get nervous to get my hopes up for these two.
I can't get. It's hard to get your hopes up for any of this stuff anymore. They've been screwing us over for so long.
I'll make a fresh prediction right now that we are let down next week by, this, by any of this.
That's a safe bet. I'm sure we will be let down.
You know what, though? I'll add it to the doc. Hold
Add
on.
to the doc.
I'm opening up
Appreciate
my
that,
first predictions
appreciate that.
doc. I need to check it out.
Oh, you know what
anyways
would have
to
been a
make
good
sure.
layup? Drew, you can still do yours. I got a second good layup, though, after you do yours.
Yeah, give me. Let's see. Okay, June 4th, 2024. Gary predicts that we will be disappointed by the Xbox showcase. Correct?
You don't even have to put the second part of that. You can just predict that we will be disappointed and leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Game
let's
industry's been struggling lately. All the layoffs, all the capitalism's killing all the creativity in the industry. In the industry, and it's just
Yeah, tell them, bro. Hit them with it. I love hearing stuff like that.
I don't
By the
know,
way,
man.
As I'm catching up on our fresh predictions, one of them has come true that we thought was mostly going to be true, but it's true. If you remember back in December, I had, or actually back in September, I predicted that Baldur's Gate 3 would come to Game Pass on the same day that it eventually releases on Xbox. That was wrong. However, Gary and I had predicted that Baldur's Gate 3 would be available on Xbox as soon as announced at the Game Awards, and that was true. However, Jahan then told us it would absolutely not be coming to Game Pass anytime in the immediate future, at least not before summer. And he's correct.
I was like, pick a date. I was like, you can't just say never to Game Pass. You got to pick something. He was like, okay, summer. Yep, and he was right.
Yep, summer's here, baby. No free Baldur's Gate for you.
Yeah, so just
I already
wanted
bought
to-
it. I already paid for it.
Yeah, me too. I already played it. It was amazing, and I love.
I'll go back to
I
it
didn't play it.
eventually.
I didn't even beat the first act.
Man, it gets so good.
I got to the second
Wanted
act and then just needed a break, and I plan to return to it. I just haven't yet.
Wanted somebody to play with, but everybody's a piece of human donkey crap.
Maybe we could. Maybe me and you could do a playthrough. Maybe we could stream it. It'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Because I'd be playing on PC, and it's easy for me to stream on the PC. So
My layup prediction is actually adjacent to Jahan's because it involves Activision Blizzard. And my prediction is that there will be some sort of announcement regarding the back catalog of Activision Blizzard games and Game Pass and what they're planning to do there. Whether it's all the Call of Duty games coming to Game Pass or Spyros and Crash Bandicoots, whatever it may be. Basically something about the Activision Blizzard catalog and when they will be rolled out to Game Pass, because people have basically been waiting on that since the acquisition happened, we've
Yeah.
already got Diablo 4 on Game Pass, which is the only real big one. And of course, we know that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is officially coming to Game Pass day and date. But there's been nothing about the back catalog, so that's my prediction. It's a pretty easy one. There were some other easy predictions I thought could be made, like Avowed or Indiana Jones or some of the games that we know are supposed to come out this year getting official release dates, because even though we know those are coming out this year, we don't have dates. But I feel like that's too easy. I'm going with the Activision Blizzard games.
I think back catalog announcement is definitely a safe bet. Yeah, you're not wrong at all. That's definitely I mean, I hope so. I want to know. Let me know.
All right, here's the other layup I've got for you guys that popped in my mind. Starfield DLC.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'd say that's a pretty good bet.
I thought
And
I thought that was definitely happening.
I don't
They'll
know
show
if
it.
there's anything official yet. They
bet
just
they'll
had a
show
big
it.
patch come out.
I might have seen
recently,
a fan
updates.
teaser or something, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. But yeah,
When I did the
if that's
shout
a
out
thing,
on our,
I don't know that it's a thing.
hell yeah. Though.
when I did the call out on our Discord for any predictions, the first person who replied is D Sky. Just sent a
D-Sky.
Starfield, a Starfield GIF, which I assume means some sort of Starfield announcement is what they're hoping for.
Smart.
DLC, something of the sort.
Yes, I would say that's definitely a thing. Was there anything else in the Discord we should mention here?
It became more conversational. I was hoping
It
for
did.
some predictions. We had some people interested in the idea of
Fable.
Nick
the
says
heavily
Fable.
Rumored. Yeah, Fable. There's been a rumored Xbox handheld. I'm not sure what that consists of. If that's like the PlayStation Portal, where it's essentially a cloud streaming device, or if they've found a way to essentially compact an Xbox Series S into a handheld. But there's been rumors of a handheld that seem to have some truth to them.
Maybe.
Which our friend of the show, Nick, said he would be interested in that because it looks like he's kind of looking at not a Steam Deck. What's the one that he said? I hadn't heard of it. I had to Google what it was. The a Rogue
I'm about to buy
Ally?
a ROG
The
Ally
Rogue
X.
Ally, yeah. It's.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think that's Xbox exclusive. I think it's just like a multi-platform, open. I think it might be an open platform handheld kind of thing.
It looks like it uses Windows. So
Okay.
it's like so I guess it uses like the Microsoft Store or whatever.
So it's
but it
a
has
Zune?
Game Pass access. Yeah.
Remember Zune, guys? Friend of the show says that they've heard a rumor Xbox would be adding an ability to connect to Steam to its consoles, but I've heard that before, and I don't.
That would make me pee on my own butt. That would be crazy.
It made me happy for sure. I have a gigantic Steam library, and then Gary would also finally be able to play a lot of games, which would include Helldivers 2, I think.
Yeah, dude, and I would be peeing on my own butt the whole time.
I would help pee on your butt because I would also be excited.
Thanks, bro.
You're welcome.
That's
man.
a friend. That's a real friend.
Well, it's the only way to get coverage, you know.
Yeah, I've got two cheeks.
It's the full ass coverage.
Should we move on to some bold predictions here?
Bold predictions,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Let me predict boldly.
As the bold one, Gary, you should definitely go first. 'Cause you're so
Fable
bold.
4. Fable 4 is my bold prediction. It was teased a few years ago. It has been silent. It may never pop up again. Who knows? Who knows when it'll surface? I think it will surface. So my bold prediction is that it surfaces here and now. And that's not to say that it is playable or it's coming out, but I do think they will show it again at this showcase. Last year was the Richard Ayoade comedy skit bit that was not gameplay and was not very funny and was not really anything.
Yes.
So we'll see. Hopefully there's something this year. My bold prediction, Fable 4.
Yeah,
That's
they
a
did
good
a
bold
super
prediction.
early tease a few years ago, like you said, that really didn't show anything. It was just kind of a logo. Last year they had the longer packaged kind of CG package, no gameplay, but I believe it was in engine. I think that this is a pretty solid bold prediction. That I think
It's a good one.
it's time. People have been waiting for this for a long time, and it kind of seems like Fable 4 might be coming out in 2025, so I think that we're in a realistic place to potentially get some sort of gameplay.
I would hope so. I mean, Fable 2, masterpiece, way ahead of its time. Fable 3 was an acceptable sequel. I want Fable 4 to blow my mind. I'm really excited. Those games are fantastic, and I miss that world. You know, because originally they were Lionsgate, right? Back in the day.
Yeah, they were. What was the Lion's Head?
Lions
Head
Studio? It's either Lion's Head or Lionsgate. I think maybe Lion's Head. But yeah, they also did the black and white games. So like the whole alignment, like good and evil spectrum, and like appearance changing and all that stuff was like really in their wheelhouse. And then that company went away, and we haven't seen much from Fable in a long time. So I'd be all those things were my favorite. So I would love to see it come back.
Yeah, Lionhead Studios was the studio. I believe they were purchased by Microsoft.
And then mothballed.
Around the time they were making Fable games, and then they had Fable Heroes, Fable the Journey. Which Fable Heroes was that the game that was? There was one that got canceled. Do you remember the one that was supposed to come out and then didn't? And it was like a top-down Fable Legends is what it was called. It was like a co-op action role-playing game that they had shown kind of in depth, and then it totally just got canceled. I don't know if y'all remember.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, check it out. Do a search for Fable Legends. Yeah, and then Lionhead got shut down. But
no, I remember
still
that
has
game being announced and
Fable
all
property.
that shit. Yeah, that was back when I was hella into video game news and like X-Play and all that stuff. So yeah, I remember that. It's just...
Is it safe to say, or is this too bold, that Fable probably has the most writing on it as far as Xbox Game Studios future releases? Like, it's the one that people know is coming.
Yeah,
that people are really excited for. That they have, really high expectations. Is Fable kind of the make or break one?
Elder Scrolls. It'll always be Elder Scrolls.
The problem is, if we get Elder Scrolls before 2030, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, at this point. I mean, you're not wrong that it's the make or break soon. You know what I mean? Like, because right now, Xbox is in the transitional period where people are trying to see what they're turning into, and they haven't done crap yet. And
I'm not super interested in owning an Xbox anymore, to be totally honest. Now that they're sharing all their exclusives, I might as well get a PlayStation. I don't understand what they're doing, and I don't like it, and I don't care. They're pushing me away as a fan. I don't give a shit. And yeah, Fable is probably not enough to be like, I'm keeping my Xbox for another 10 years. Like, that's... Good luck.
And I'm prone to agree with that. I mean, I have a computer. You know, I could play a lot of stuff on there. And then, yeah, PlayStation would round out my library a lot better than an Xbox would, because they have exclusives. And I don't know. It does seem, I mean, we've talked about a lot of exclusivity might be going away in a lot of respects, which I think overall is better for consumers. Because then it really is a matter of who has the better platform and who has the better hardware, and that is better for consumers in the long run. It's just, since exclusivity absolutely still exists hugely with PlayStation and Nintendo, having the one that doesn't do it is kind of lame. And yeah, I agree.
Yep.
My bold prediction, I feel like it's pretty bold, is that there will be a new IP teased, that they are going to do a new something either through one of their newly acquired studios or a new Microsoft first party IP of some kind, like a completely new, something new that they've never done before.
When you're saying a new IP, you're talking a AAA IP, right? Not like a small indie Microsoft studio IP?
I am talking a AAA. I'm talking a Dynasty here. I'm talking they're going to throw out...
I thought that's what you meant. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, they're going to... I feel like a bold prediction, they're going to do a new, like, Halo, Gears, something. They're going to have a new... Because they need one. They need something to carry them, and I want to see them put it out. So that's going to be my bold prediction. A completely new AAA IP.
A new AAA, to be clear, a new AAA game announcement that hasn't been announced before? Because you said
Yes.
it could be a Halo, it could be a Gears, so it could be part of an existing.
Well, I'm
Gears
equating.
franchise.
Yeah, I'm talking like
He means
that
on the
Oh,
kind.
you're saying
Yeah.
that level.
That level.
Okay. New AAA franchise. I dig it. That is pretty bold. I think this is always kind of the dream every year is to get something like this, a new big franchise that we can get excited about. So yeah, I feel like that's the goal. And I have, again, I feel like mine's kind of adjacent with some of what y'all are saying. My bold prediction was, if you remember last year, they showed early trailers for a couple of new games from Xbox Game Studios. We had South of Midnight, shown from Compulsion Games, which was kind of a, if you remember, it almost looked like stop motion animation in the bayou, and had like very like New Orleans kind of vibes.
Yeah, I feel like I do remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was voodoo kind of elements, that kind of stuff. It was actually a really cool trailer, but it was just, a CG trailer.
Yeah.
There's no indication of what the gameplay would be like there. The other one we saw was Clockwork Revolution from InXile, the studio that does the Wasteland games. And I
forgot about that one. That one looks good, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a BioShock-esque kind of like, clockwork, steampunk style game. There was some like faux gameplay shown in that trailer. Like it was clear that game's going to be first person.
Yeah.
So I just think that after those two IPs were announced last year, that we are going to get at least some sort of gameplay shown from one of these new Xbox Game Studios games that are coming out that we do already know about, but we just don't know how far out they are. So whether it's South of Midnight, whether it's Clockwork Revolution,
I like that
whether
prediction.
we finally see something from the Perfect Dark game that we know Xbox's new studio. I can't even think of what they have a new studio that they started from the ground up several years ago. It's called oh, nope, not coming to me. Let's see.
Perfect Dark was originally Rare, wasn't it?
It was. So they have the IP.
But then they reworked and made a new studio to focus on some of these games. Okay,
The
cool.
Initiative.
Interesting.
Yeah, they built a new studio from the ground up, kind of former like Crystal Dynamics and some others, but it's the Initiative. It was formed in 2018. So, and their first big game they're making is Perfect Dark, and we know they've been working on it for a long, long time. That has been, basically made fact that they're working on it, but I think they've just had a lot of holdups and delays. So, again, whether it's South of Midnight, Clockwork Revolution, Perfect Dark, or the Initiative the Coalition finally reveals Gear 6 officially, we're going to see one of those games we know
some of
is
those,
being worked on.
Those would be solid, and they would really make it a good presentation. Those would that would round out the roster quite a bit, especially if they did more than one of those. That'd be awesome.
Gears 6 doesn't do anything for me.
Doesn't do much for me.
I really like the Gears games.
I did.
You were like messing with Gears 5 still?
I did them, but Gears 5 I just wasn't in on.
I didn't play I didn't really play the multiplayer that much, but I enjoyed the campaign a lot. I like the Gears campaigns. But 4 came out in 2016. Gears 5 came out in 2019. So 3 years between 4 and 5, but we're going on 5 years since 5 came out. So
Jeez, really? That's a long time.
We've got to be close to at least an announcement officially showing us something from 6. There's no way it's coming out.
I'm not a Gears hater, and I am a sucker for a good Horde mode. So especially since it's going to be free, I would definitely pop on and play some Horde mode with some friends for sure. So because we did open up, we don't always do audience stuff, but since we were talking to our audience previously about predictions and stuff, we do have some good ones here. Someone said that they're hoping that the canned dragon game from years ago comes back. I don't know if you guys remember that. Scalebound.
I was trying to think of the name.
Yeah, yes. Scalebound. It looked kind of Square Enix-y style, and like you're a character that runs around and fights stuff, but you have a dragon. Like a full-size dragon that's like your companion that like comes in, does airstrikes for you, and you can like kind of fight with it. That would be a really cool announcement. And a lot of people were really bummed when that game got canned. I know Kayvon was. Kayvon was really looking forward to that game. I thought it looked really cool. But check out Scalebound. Who knows? Maybe we'll hear something about it.
I don't know, man. If Kayvon's disappointed, I don't want it to come back. I'd like to keep him sad.
Burn! Take that, Kayvon.
It's not really a burn. It's just a statement of fact.
It's pretty funny.
Where are we at on predictions, Drew? You did yours, right?
Yeah, that's everybody has done their bold prediction. Gary's was something with Fable 4. Jahan said a new AAA franchise, and Drew said new gameplay shown from some of these new IPs or games we know are in development. Just something to be shown there.
I'm gonna go ahead and open up.
Doesn't seem like that bold of a prediction.
I feel like it's bold enough.
I just feel like the thing is that happens with Xbox every year. This is why I consider it bold. Is like
because
South
we
of Midnight was
almost
just
getting
announced.
it.
Yeah, South of Midnight was just announced last year. I was very intrigued by that trailer. The Xbox way is that we see that trailer and then there's just nothing on it for like 3 more years. So I do find it to be bold that like a year later we're actually going to have concrete development on this game or some sort of announcement. And I hope it's as big and like AAA as I want it to be. Compulsion and In Exile are not really traditional like big AAA studios that Xbox has acquired, so I might have unrealistic expectations for what these games are. But South of Midnight in particular, I'm very intrigued by. I'd really like to see something about that game. I'm not feeling bold enough to be like, we're going to see a new Halo, or we're going to see, I do feel more confident about Gears. Gears is going to be teased in some way. Maybe
that's a bold pick. If you say if that's your bold pick, that's a bold pick.
That's definitely one. Yeah. Because my dream prediction, because we're doing dream predictions now, right? Is it's a pretty simple one, and a lot of people have already said it in the chat and then in the Discord and stuff. My dream prediction would be for them to finally say something about Elder Scrolls 6. If they did, it would blow up every previous Xbox preview that they've done here, and I don't know, man. They need to do something big soon because people are losing interest. We're all losing interest. We're all losing faith. Give us something. That's my dream prediction. I don't think it's going to happen.
You're not wrong.
But I hope.
That's a wild prediction, but that's exactly what that category is for wild dream predictions. That's a good one. I like that, and I like your reasoning for that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, it's like we had Fallout 5, and then we had Starfield, so it's clear that Elder Scrolls 6 is the next one in line, but it seems like now we're just kind of getting off the Starfield train, and they're probably really ramping it up on Elder Scrolls, I would imagine. So yeah, I hope sooner rather than later. I definitely think it's a dream to see something this year.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a dream category pick. It's a great one. Mine is Helldivers. Helldivers has no chance of coming to Xbox at all. There was a huge fan petition with over 100,000, 150,000 people, and so if you charge $60 a game, then you're just raking in the cash. It would be a cash cow on Xbox. It would kill it. They'd make an absolute shipload of money, but I don't think it's going to happen. So my dream come true is they tell us that Helldivers, come join the fight now, and it's on Game Pass or whatever. Even if it's not on Game Pass, if they just say it's coming, either way, let's hear Helldivers for Xbox as my shot in the dark here.
It's a good one.
That's a good one. I know that would make a lot of people really happy. Jahan actually kind of mentioned. I had a few bullet points here because I was trying to decide what I wanted my out there dream prediction to be. And Jahan, you actually mentioned in your layup World of Warcraft on console or coming to Xbox. I had that one kind of as a dream one, but I also agree with you. I'm like, it's also a super old game, and I wonder if people would actually be excited for it. I don't know. If we're
almost even 20 years old.
Even WoW being added to Game Pass in general, so like you could have, if you have PC Game Pass, you can play WoW, which is probably going to happen, I would imagine, with the Activision Blizzard library. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be interested in some sort of like nice cloud streaming device a la the PlayStation Portal, which I've been kind of raving about on this podcast for the past couple weeks because I've been playing a lot on it. So I've been playing a lot more PlayStation. Yeah. But the The one that I'm gonna go with here is this is totally dream scenario, right? You know, we know that there's these Xbox games that were previous exclusives that are now coming out on PlayStation console, right? We've Hi-Fi Rush and so Pentiment, so on and so forth. So obviously, a Sony representative will come out on stage at the Xbox show and say, you know what? You shared with us. We're going to share with you.
Tat.
Uncharted, The Last of Us, previous entries in the franchise coming to Xbox Game Pass, whatever it may be. We've decided to be friends, and you gave us some of yours. We'll give you some of ours.
Bro, I love that as a dream prediction, first of all. But honestly, don't you think there's a better chance of a Nintendo rep coming out and saying that they would share a few titles?
Absolutely.
I would actually be more excited for that.
There's a
Which
much
I think
higher
that's
chance.
also a long shot. I think that's a long shot, but could happen. Either way, those are fucking... Sorry, I didn't mean to drop the F-bomb. I've been trying to do better here on the show, fellas. Those are great picks, Drew. Those are good.
The other one would just be anything Banjo. I love the Banjo-Kazooie games. That's an Xbox IP now that has just been laying there dormant. There's a studio, actually, that came with the Activision Blizzard purchase called Toys for Bob. And they had done the Spyro collection, and I think they might have worked on the new Crash Bandicoot games. And as part of they were part of the acquisition that Xbox got, but Xbox spun them out. So they're now like their own independent studio again, but they're working on an Xbox project. An Xbox exclusive. So a lot.
The stream went down momentarily, but you can still hear me because I'm Jehananon and I have a beautiful, lovely voice. Yeah, and it's okay. They could hear me the whole time. I was being sexy for them. Oh, we made it a really long way without that happening. But
yeah, so Toys for Bob working on an independent project for Xbox. They've been known to do like Spyro, Crash type games in the past.
So
could be a new Spyro game, could be a new Banjo game. I'd love if it was a new Banjo game. That's
so here's what I'm saying. Like, what if they Banjo, Crash, Spyro? What if they finally? That would be that's another dream prediction. I feel is some sort of amalgamation franchise game. Because they like X Defiant just came out. That's a Ubisoft universe collab. Something I don't know if I would necessarily want it to be like Smash Brothers, but a Microsoft Smash Brothers would be really interesting.
Even just the idea of having a platformer adventure game that has all of those titular characters
so
in it.
Cool.
Yeah, because then you don't have to make one Banjo game and hope that it's okay. You make the game where all the heroes are in it and they do different things and they solve different puzzles in different ways.
Different power you can swap out, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something cool there for sure. That's not a bad idea.
That'd be really cool. Or like Diddy Kong Racing style thing with all Master Chief going up against, Banjo and some race. I don't know, something like that. Something where they just need to use their IPs. Why did you buy them?
Diddy Kong Racing.
Me too, dude. It was fire. It was fire.
Mm-hmm.
It should have done better. And yeah, no, they bought all these IPs. They're not doing anything with them. Do something with them. I don't care if you put them all in one shitty game. Just let me see them. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, do the Sony treatment, like the way Sony treats their Marvel properties. Just make dog crap, but just at least make it.
Yeah, at least let us see them.
At least it's kind of crazy in hindsight to think like now all of a sudden Xbox Game Studios, Microsoft has these like former very popular mascot characters are now all under the Xbox umbrella, like Spyro and Crash, and then of course Banjo are now Microsoft
It's
characters. Like
maddening.
Like the Spider-Man No Way Home of like old school platformer mascot games on Xbox.
Exactly.
Like, Crash meets Spyro meets Banjo.
They have some of the most iconic gaming characters of all time in their stable, and they're not doing anything with them, and it's annoying.
And each one of those characters clearly has a different special ability. They're just begging to be put together in the same game to solve puzzles.
Yeah, freaking Banjo does typical Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie can do typical, like, platformer stuff. Spyro can fly, breathe fire, and then Crash can run towards the camera, which is its own power.
He's got a lot of games where he has cars and mechanics and stuff. Now, he's not quite Jak and Daxter, but they did give him stuff.
Yeah.
So he could be the character with stuff, the Tinkerer character.
Yeah. Before we moved on, though, I did want to mention, you did mention the World of Warcraft thing about World of Warcraft coming to Game Pass. So I don't think that they would ever remove the subscription for World of Warcraft, ever. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's never going to happen. But what they might do is similar to what they did when they acquired Riot, is, give you some discounts, give you a free month here or there with Xbox perks, which is nothing. It's a wet fart of a reward, but hey, that might be what they do with World of Warcraft.
You might be right, but also paying the Game Pass monthly might be the same as paying your World of Warcraft monthly, right? Because the second you stop Game Pass, you lose your WoW account.
Or like if you have
Maybe.
Xbox Game Pass Ultimate or the
You're not
highest,
really playing it for free.
whatever the highest level of Game Pass is, you get it. But whereas if you have a lower version of Game Pass, you get the game, but you still have to pay a subscription fee. I don't know. I'm just
Something like that. Yeah.
I've seen some other stuff too. I played a bunch of these TTRP or MMORPGs on Xbox. What some of them do is they'll give you like 1 or 2 character slots, and so if you want to play more or get a higher past a certain level, then you have to buy the DLC or buy the expansion or buy the game.
Yeah, like
so they give you 30
Black
levels for free
Desert.
and, like, exactly.
Or,
That's exactly what's going in my
Dungeons
head right
and
now.
Dragons. Yeah.
Yep. So there are ways where World of Warcraft could be free on Game Pass, but yeah, you would want to buy the DLC.
Okay,
Sure,
if it does happen, I know I shit on it not that long ago, like moments ago, but we're gonna play it together and have fun in a guild, and it'll be fun.
No, we're not.
No, we are.
We're not.
We are.
No, we're not.
We're gonna do it.
It's gonna take so much time out of our lives.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that.
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
No, we're not.
I'm gonna neglect my son.
I was gonna say, you're gonna have a kid. Drew's got kids. You guys aren't gonna do that. I'll just be the only grognard on there by myself, basking in my own beef at my house, waiting for you guys to log in.
I just won't sleep anymore. But yeah, was that all we were gonna talk about for the Xbox showcase?
That was our predictions that we were
docket.
gonna make. Is there anything else? I don't think there's. If there's a list of things they've already confirmed as being part of the show, I haven't seen it. I feel like it's pretty clean slate.
I tried to look, and there was nothing. I couldn't find anything.
I did go onto Reddit, as I tend to do, and just see what people were predicting there. And a lot of it's kind of the stuff that I already assumed. There's a lot of people thinking that they're working on a Gears trilogy or Gears of War collection, a la the Master Chief collection. A lot of people think that could be a thing that's coming out. There's been State of Decay 3. We know we're getting the Black Ops 6 deep dive after the show. Avowed gameplay and release date. That's seems like a given to me. Let's see. What else?
Avowed looks fine. I'm more excited for Light the Fire or whatever, the No Man's Sky creator fantasy world. That one looks more.
Well, that sounds cool.
That one looks cool. Yeah.
There's a lot of people saying
Now that you say that, Jahan, that reminds me that Rare was making a Sea of Thieves-ish style game that's a fantasy universe called like Everwild or something.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They've been working on that already for like 4 years in secret, so that could pop up.
That could pop up. I forgot about Everwild. Everwild, that would be a game changer. I just wish one of them would come listen to us and be like, oh, these guys are right. We should do this.
They do. They listen to us. I talk to them.
They have an AI that aggregates all podcasts and just gives them the laydown.
Phil listens to this.
Oh, what's up, Phil?
How you doing, Phil?
There's a lot of people predicting something Fallout related just due to the popularity of the Fallout show. It's like there's rumors of a remaster or a remake of Fallout 3, or if they're doing something there, just something to capitalize on the Fallout popularity.
Let me tell you how easy of a cash-in, bank-in, how simple of an idea that is. As soon as the Fallout show hit Amazon, we scheduled a Fallout TTRPG campaign because how do you not cash in on the movement right now? So if you guys want to catch our Fallout campaign, we're doing that on Fridays at twitch.tv/Jahananon. Also, you can check out our YouTube, Fresh Out the Box TTRPG. We're playing Fallout, girl.
We are. Yeah, we're cashing in on it. I don't know why other people wouldn't, but I do. I mentioned it in the chat that it is too quick of a turnaround unless they had planned to release something in conjunction with the show ahead of time. The success of the show is too recent for them to have anything in hand that they could show with any sort of validity. You know.
You don't think they would have already been working on a remaster and say this is the time to announce it?
I don't think that they were.
It seems like these days they're always working on a remaster. I'm just always pissed off about it, so you never hear me talking about it.
I don't think there were because they are of all the mod community. Like there's in the mod community right now, they're making a Fallout 2 in like 3D instead of the isometric view. They're doing Fallout London, like all those things, and Bethesda's well aware of it, and Bethesda talks to these people and wasn't like, hey, you might not want to keep doing that because we're making a new one. And you know, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Gary said they're playing Fallout Girl, and if he'd been playing Fallout Boy, then we'd be going down.
All right, guys,
down,
this has
down,
been good. I'll see you
down,
later.
down,
Sugar, we'd be
been
going
nice.
down swinging.
That was episode 125.
Oh man, the song that if you know it, you're officially old now. Going down.
I said mid earlier and said as the kids say, so I show my age all the time.
I was there, Drew, and I was embarrassed for all of us.
Yeah. Yep. Fair. Should we move on from?
We should move on.
Topic and go to our fresh movies of the week.
Fresh movies.
That Jahan and I got to see together.
We got to see it together. It was awesome. We got to go to a press screening of Bad Boys: Ride or Die, and it was fun.
Yeah, it's the fourth entry in the Bad Boys franchise, which I have like a special place in my heart for Bad Boys 2 especially. Gary, you will remember we were not of age to see that movie and definitely snuck in to see it with your older brother Thomas, and I think Walker was with us too.
Yes, sir.
Great theatrical experience that I still remember to this day, despite being only 14 years old at the time. I had a great time at that movie.
Yeah, Bad Boys 2 is one of the greatest action comedy movies of all time. And when I say that, it's probably not number one, but you find me a list where it's not on the top 5.
It's so much fun. And the first one's good. The third one's okay. I thought this fourth one was more fun. Went more the fun route than the third one did. It's totally silly. There's parts of it that are bizarre. The camera work in it's super dynamic. Like they're doing all kinds of just crazy stuff with the camera in it, which I don't think it always works, but it's definitely fun. The movie really doesn't stop moving. I thought it was a great time. Jahan, what'd you think?
Hey man, I thought this movie was going to be crap, and it was not. It was definitely completely watchable, very exciting. Action pack. It was a good action movie. If you like action movies, you'll like this movie. I'm not the biggest like pure adrenaline action movie kind of guy, but I enjoyed this. Martin Lawrence, I wasn't sure what to expect from him in this installment. They wrote for him very well. I liked his character a lot. There were definitely a lot of callbacks, as would be expected in the fourth movie of the series. But I still felt that this movie did a really good job of establishing its own identity and like being its own movie. Like I don't feel like it necessarily had to stand on like all the past ones. I feel like it stood on its own pretty well, which once again is impressive for the fourth movie in an installment. I don't know. There's a lot of really good action scenes. A lot of it was at least somewhat realistic. Some of it was kind of ridiculous, but I don't feel like they necessarily jumped the shark during this. There's a couple of moments where you're like, I don't think that's a thing that could happen. But hey, more power to you. But I enjoyed it.
In Transporter 3, there's a bomb on the bottom of his car, and he sees the reflection of it in the water. And then he drives out of the warehouse and flips the car into the air and knocks the bomb off with a hook on the bottom of a crane. So you can have a great action movie
That didn't happen.
without it having any. Yeah, you don't have to have any modicum of sense, though. That's the whole. When you,
You
have
don't
action
have
comedy,
to.
it can go right out the window.
You don't have to, but I felt that this stayed within at least somewhat the realm of believability.
Remember that one with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell that started with Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock jumping off the roof and
That
aiming
was
for the bushes?
You mean the greatest moment in any cop comedy ever?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Aim for the
Sometimes you just
bushes?
throw realism right out the window.
What are you talking
with
about?
kinds of
That was
movies.
100% realistic. That's what happens when you jump off a building.
That was the 2010 movie The Other Guys that y'all are referring
Yes.
to.
Yes, it was. Desk pop. You'll do desk pop.
The gimmick with Martin Lawrence in Bad Boys 4 or Bad Boys Ride or Die is that he, early on in the movie, I don't think it's a big spoiler to say, he basically has like a cardiac event and a near death experience. So, and has like a vision, and finds his calling, I guess you should say. So the entirety of the movie, he's like, I can't die because it's not my time to go yet. So he's in that mode.
Oh,
which
that's funny. He's unkillable.
yeah,
He actually says he's unkillable at one point, and
That's funny.
man,
Yeah.
it's a good ongoing bit, and then like he keeps having all this like born again, like life is new moments. He keeps having them. He keeps having these like weird afterlife moments where like he's like we've been friends in other lives, and like it's a really funny ongoing bit, and I liked it.
Yeah, but like they're always super bizarre. Like
Super
like,
bizarre.
Like he'll be talking to Will Smith's character, which is Mike. Is Will Smith Mike?
Yeah, Mike.
I always forget their names. Yeah, like, and Martin Lawrence will be saying like, in another life, they were still soulmates, but Mike was a donkey and Martin Lawrence was his owner, and like it'll be like just super strange.
And he's like, I'm sorry that I used to beat you. I was a bad owner. Or something.
One of my favorite things about like Martin Lawrence, one of my favorite movies that comes to head is Blue Streak, which was like maybe early 2000s comedy.
Yeah.
Where he plays a bunch of different stupid fucking characters throughout it, and they're over the top and they're silly, and he's extra. I remember when he fucking gets out of the car, please don't kill me, Freaky Jason. Please don't kill me, Freaky Jason. And it's just that's what I want to see him do. I want to see him not be normal. I don't want to see him be the guy who's like, you're dating my sister or whatever. Like, I get that, but seeing Martin Lawrence lose his damn mind is exactly what we're all here for.
And he lost his mind in this movie. It was great.
He's really like, I've always thought he's pretty funny in these. I thought he was like particularly funny in this one, which is great. And it's clear, he and Will Smith have done 4 of these movies together now, and they clearly have great chemistry together, and they just bounce off of each other really well. The Will Smith of it all, I didn't know if the slap, in quotes, would loom large over this movie at all, because this is like the first kind of big blockbuster movie he's done since that. And for me, it didn't. Like, I didn't think about it at all. Is the slap referenced in the movie? I don't know. Go see the movie for yourself. It possibly could be.
It possibly could be. Yeah, no, Drew sat next to me in real life during this movie, so he can witness that I was laughing a lot. So I was laughing. I have a very loud laugh, and I was cracking up this whole movie. So it was solid.
One of the joys of seeing a movie with Jahan, we talked about this back when we saw Strays forever ago. It's like, there'd be parts that I thought were funny, and then Jahan would be chuckling, and then it would just make me laugh out loud more than I would have. It also
and then
was
makes
noting
him laugh more, and then everyone's dying laughing. Yeah.
We were also in a fully packed. It was a press screening, but they also did allow like select people in as a fan screening. So it was packed, and it was a rowdy crowd. Like,
it was pretty rowdy.
A lot of fans of the movies. And it made certain moments in the movie very fun because everybody was laughing, like having a good time. But then it also, like, you'd have those moments, and then I guess it made people feel more comfortable where they were being like more obnoxious later and yelling things out. It was like a little bit too much, but it didn't ruin my experience or anything.
No, me neither.
The movie was still enjoyable.
They got back under control eventually, and it was fine. It's not the worst crowd I've been in.
Whenever I went and saw Central Intelligence with The Rock and Kevin Hart, the entire thing was a callback. everyone in there was just calling back at the screen, and I was like, boy, this is exciting. I'm glad I came to this. It would have been good without the audience calling back.
Yeah. That's why I like to go to Alamo. They're very strict about those things, but
100%. I went to a studio movie grill, and I thought it was going to be cool, and it just the whole crowd was there to do that, except for me, apparently.
no.
So that's Bad Boys.
That's Bad
Ride or
Boys.
Die. John, I'm assuming you would say it's fresh. I'd say it's
Absolutely
fresh.
certified fresh. It was the most fun action movie I've seen in a while. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. Thank goodness we got to see that, because I didn't really have any other movies for this week except for one. It's a rewatch of a movie that I had not seen since it came out in theaters in 2003, which is Ang Lee's Hulk movie.
No.
Is this the one with
Bana?
Yes, this is the
Eric
Eric
Bana?
Bana.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Here's
Why
the
did
thing.
you? Okay.
There's been like a recent reclamation of this movie by a lot of film fans that are like, no, Ang Lee's Hulk is good, actually. Like, that's been kind of an ongoing thing. And so I have never rewatched this movie. I just remember seeing it in theaters and not really being a huge fan of it back in the day. So it's like, I'm going to give this movie a proper rewatch and go into this not thinking of it as a Marvel Hulk movie, but thinking of it as an Ang Lee Hulk movie. And his choice to make it this family-based drama, like Freudian daddy issues movie, if you go into it with the right mindset,
No.
Hulk
No.
is good,
No.
actually.
Yeah,
Hulk
if you go into it with
is
the right
pretty good.
mindset, you can eat a poop sandwich. And if you go into it with the right mindset, you can put anything in your butt.
That's pretty fair.
Like, what are you doing? You
Hulk
have been
is good, actually.
completely. You've been brainwashed by your film community. Go back and fight for yourself. This is not right.
That's funny.
I think it's good,
So
actually.
I haven't watched it recently, and Gary's really on you, so I don't want to double team on you. But this movie is a loose hand of diarrhea out of 5. That's all.
Yes.
That's all I want to say. Maybe I'll go rewatch it and see if I feel the magic. But all right.
Yeah, you're gonna
Drew.
feel the magic. It's gonna be
Drew.
hot and dripping in between your fingers.
Third act.
Yep.
He fights this guy.
Yeah. Nick Nolte,
Drew.
Nick Nolte giving a performance that if I could go back to the 2003 Oscars, I'd be like, guys, Nick Nolte.
Oh god, I can't tell if you're
supporting
fucking with me,
actor.
dude. Oh my
I'm
god.
being
He
100%
has been-
serious.
Oh my
Nolte's
God.
giving
Stockholm
an
syndrome.
Oscar-worthy performance in this movie.
Okay.
I swear.
Hey,
And
I'll go watch
Stockholm
it.
Syndrome completely.
I'll go watch it, but oh my god. I
You
remember
were tortured by your
my
captors. There's no way that you believe any of this.
maybe it's the best.
Are you
Maybe
okay?
he's right. Maybe
Give
he's
us a
right,
hand-
Gary.
Give us a hand sign. Give us a hand sign if you need help.
I think
For
with
our
this
friend,
movie-
we might have to go watch this awful movie.
Here's the thing. Hulk plays well in a post MCU fatigue world. In a
Interesting.
world now where we're like Quantumania, meh,
In a world of lowered expectations.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Marvels,
What are you
meh.
saying?
Like the Marvel machine that's pumping out the movies that we've
Yeah.
come to expect. When you go see Hulk and how different it is and some big swings it takes, you're like, oh, this is kind of refreshing. I think it was just ahead of its time. Instead, it came out a year after Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out, which was a big mega hit for 2002. And then a year later, Hulk was it ain't it, at the
Yeah.
time. Now, in a post 30 plus MCU movie, kind of cookie cutter superhero world, don't get me wrong. I love the Marvel movies. I'm going to see all of them. I'm going to be here to talk about them every time.
Yeah.
Ang
Like
Lee's
the
Hulk,
Marvels,
though,
for what it's worth.
pretty
Yeah.
good. Pretty good.
I'm on Gary's
That
side of
makes
this
me
one,
wanna
but I will watch it again just for you, Drew. And
This is not me being Aquaman Drew. Okay, I genuinely. I mean, I genuinely like Aquaman also, but like, I enjoyed this watch.
Oh, we all have
Usually-
movies that we should be ashamed of that we like, Drew.
Usually my depression isn't so bad, but then sometimes Drew does this and I just want to die and I don't know what to do about it.
Oh, well, hey, that movie is fresh apparently, so go check it out, I guess.
There's
Fresh
no way
or
that's
just
true.
fresh diarrhea. It's one of the two, apparently.
Love it or hate it, the Hulk exists. Go check it out and let us know what you think on Twitter, please. But yeah, that's it for Fresh Movies this week. We're going to jump on a Fresh TV. Mine's pretty quick. I started a rewatch of House of the Dragon with Jen. We are getting ready for the next season. We're excited. And you know what? It's really good on a rewatch. It starts off real good. The scene where they're having the tournament for the prince's the supposed prince's birth. And then when the mother, dies of childbirth and all that stuff, it all hits hard. All of the action's great. The characters are very well developed, and it's a very well written show. I can't wait for season 2. And that's all I have to say about my current rewatch of House of the Dragon.
I feel like I still have pretty vivid recollection of House of the Dragon, but now you're saying it and you're making me question if I should try and rewatch it. I don't think I'd be able to get through the whole season before the new one starts, and I want to stay on top of the new one, but I'm like, I hadn't really thought about it, but you just made me want to rewatch it a little bit.
Then I did a good job.
So I don't know why, but I've had fired up Netflix today, and I was like, "Ooh, I just want to watch something for a little bit." And I saw Blueberry Cucumber Batch's face, and I was like, "All right, what is he up
no,
to?"
you watched that show, Gary?
I've heard
Oh, yeah,
it's
this
not
seems-
good.
This seems super triggering for me.
It does. That's why I'm concerned.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but the show is called Eric.
No.
It's starring Benedict Cumberbatch, and he works for like a Sesame Street-esque show, and he's kind of a dickhead. He's the creative behind it, and he doesn't really get along with anybody. And he's kind of hard on his son too, but not, he's not like an abusive alcoholic that I've seen yet. And his son walks to school for the first day. He's like 12 years old or something, and just so happens that day he goes missing. And so the whole thing is a missing kid story that sort of evokes that like 1980s panic, stranger danger thing. So it's a really panicky show. It's meant to fuck it. There I go again. It's meant to scare you, meant to scare the crap out of you. And it's so far the small synopsis on it. I haven't gotten to this part yet. I'm about halfway through the first episode. I'm getting set up in the plot and the exposition. So you're right, Drew. You may have heard this show is not very good. I'm in the first episode, and I like Benedict Cumberbatch, so I'll stick around for a while to see what he does and how his performance is. I'm just kind of here for that. Also, there's puppets in it, so I'm here for puppets. But the whole thing's a little twisted. The description is puppeteer Vincent clings to his missing son's drawings of a blue monster puppet named Eric, convinced that if he can get Eric on TV, then his son will come home. So it's going to be him having some kind of mental breakdown and maybe denying the truth of what happened to his kid. I'm not sure. So either way, it'll be Benedict Cumberbatch probably putting on a performance. Maybe nothing else than that.
Yeah. So
I don't know whether or not to tell you guys it's fresh. I don't like Benedict Cumberbatch, so I'm gonna stick with it and report back.
I saw some of this show. So far I thought it was good too. And yeah, he does start clinging to the puppet, and you get to see a bit of the puppet. And yeah, he does have a bit of a psychotic break, and it's weird. I'm not sure how well it plays because I didn't watch that much of it, but it's an interesting concept at the very least, and it's got Benedict Cumberbatch. I feel it's worth a watch at least. Maybe I'll pop back on this one too.
That's exactly where I'm at. It's probably just worth it to see what he's up to doing a Netflix show.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about this at all. Fresh peepers. I don't know. What I saw was fine.
So the show's called Eric. I think I recommend it. If that sounds like something you want to watch, then watch it. If you're like, boy, you didn't sell me, then I'm not sure the show's going to sell you. So far, the pacing's kind of slow, and it might just be something painful and drawn out to watch that for no real purpose. Who knows?
Great. Well, the only one that I had for TV is South Park: The End of Obesity, which is the newest South Park special that's now streaming on Paramount Plus. They always do these specials, like it seems like once or twice a year there's one of these. Like we've talked about the, oh gosh, what was the woke one, Gary, where they all get recast? I can't remember what it was called.
Oh, yeah, that one was funny.
Yeah, like I know they did the Streaming Wars one.
Streaming Wars was really good. Yeah.
They did the pandemic and the post-pandemic.
Yeah, so I always want to catch these, but I always say I'm going to, and then I never do. This one I actually watched. So this is South Park: The End of Obesity, and it's South Park basically going after the Ozempic craze or diabetes medications for weight loss use. And I found it to be a pretty funny examination of that drug craze, and also just an overall look at the American healthcare system, and especially health insurance system. There's a very funny bit in the episode where they go to like a giant corporation that's basically just labeled insurance, and they go in and it looks like Tomorrowland, right? Like it is just the future. It's all super nice and pristine and future, just as nice as could be. But when they go and they're looking for essentially money back, they're like, oh, it's through this room, and they go into a room and everything is just, it's a tiny room with an old man working where it's just everything's dated in like the 80s, you know, dial-up phone or rotary dial phones and fax machines, and you go and make the ask and it just moves at a snail's pace, you know, as opposed to if you're buying insurance, it's all just perfection. I thought that was very good. All the women are using Ozempic or Mounjaro or whatever drug, but they're basically having like drug parties where they're, you know, somebody's bringing all the drugs and they're all just doing these weight loss drugs together, but then claiming on the streets that they're just doing Pilates or workouts.
Mounjaro was a weight loss drug. I thought that was a frozen pizza.
That's DiGiorno. I think he means
My bad.
Majero. I'll remember. There's a few of them.
Isn't it Mounjaro?
It's something like that. It's a weird word.
It's not delivery. I know that for sure. It's Mounjaro.
But all the women start wearing their shirts in like a crop top style to show off their stomachs and how much weight they've lost. And of course, Randy ends up somehow like integrating into this group of women and taking the drugs as well and wearing his shirt up as like a crop top as well. You know, it's the stuff that you would expect from this type of special, but I did find it to have a lot of funny moments. So yeah, that's South Park: The End of Obesity. It
sounds really funny. I've only seen bits of this. I know that there's a Lizzo joke in this. I saw Lizzo react to the joke, like on TikTok. Like she watched it like for the first time live and like reacted to it, and it was pretty funny. She thought it was hilarious, and
good.
Yeah, she thought it was funny as hell, and she's like, "Man, they got me good," and it was funny. But yeah.
I feel like at this point, it's like an honor to be made fun of by South Park. Like, if you get made fun of by them, you've made it.
Yes, but people that are dickheads don't feel that way.
There's two different ways you get made fun of, though. Yeah, it really depends.
Yeah, some people it's in good fun. Some people, you know, it's clear they hate you. And odds are you're a prick, so you're not going to like it. But,
yeah, I really like those guys. Their political commentary has been pretty informative of my life. So is their comedy style.
Absolutely. No, that's Fresh TV for the week. We're gonna pivot over to Fresh Games. We'll kick it off.
Jahan, I'll let you go first.
You want me to go first?
Let
okay.
You go first, because I was just talking about South Park. Yeah,
mine's a pretty. It's not too elaborate. It's called Rift Tracks. If you guys have played like Jackbox party games kind of thing.
Yep.
So this is in the same wheelhouse. It is not the same company, which I thought was interesting, but it is still you put the game on, you log in with your phone, and you use your phone to control. It's like Mystery Science Theater. You guys remember Mystery Science Theater? It's like a really shitty B movie, and then there's a human and two puppets sitting in the front row, and they're watching, and they're making fun of it.
I've watched way too much Mystery Science Theater. I would love I would love that if that was my job, if we just riffed on movies and were puppets in the front row.
I would do that, man. I would have so much fun with that. But yeah, so Rift Tracks actually lets you be that. Rift Tracks, it plays a movie clip, like from a really crappy B movie, terrible movie. And then you get to fill in, like what the commentary is during that, and it plays it. There's an AI voice that actually reads what you wrote. And then, you vote on who was funny and this and that, and it's a really good time. It's a fun party game. It's called Riff Treks. It's not a full price game or anything. Check it out. I know it's available on Switch. I'm sure it's available on probably all platforms. But I thought it was a good time. We had a lot of fun doing this. We laughed, and it was just a quick and easy way to have fun with your friends. So Riff Treks Certified Fresh. Check it out.
Perfect. I just wanted to kind of tie a bow on our Senua Saga Hellblade 2 conversation that we were having last week, because I did complete it. I think my final clock in time was like just over 7 hours to beat the game. So like that just it's pretty short. But of course it looks fantastic. It's a technical achievement. As far as the game itself goes, after completing it, I thought it had some really great moments, and again, like, looked amazing. But overall, I would say it was good, not great. It's very much an experience. It's an art piece, but I don't think it's necessarily always fun to play. So I guess just take that as you will. Despite how great it looks, there's a great story, the production design, the sound design, it's all absolutely top notch. I think even the combat is pretty decent for the most part, albeit repetitive. But yeah, I think that just the moment to moment gameplay is sometimes more cinematic than it is fun. And I think that there's that can be good to an extent, but in a way, I'm glad this game wasn't longer, because I don't know if I needed more. I want to see more from the studio and more in this engine. Like, I think that they're extremely talented, and the production design here is incredible. But yeah, this is very much an art piece, and an experience more so than it is like a fun arcadey game.
Excellent.
I'd still say it's fresh. It's just this is not God of War. This is not, Uncharted. This is not like
use the word game.
Yeah,
more of an art piece than a game.
Yeah,
barely, honestly.
It's like 2 steps past a Telltale game almost when it comes to gameplay.
Except there's no choice-based things.
No choice-based things.
Through the story. Yeah. So there's that. I think it's a great addition to the Xbox Game Pass library, but I don't think this is really going to move the needle in any way, unfortunately. So yeah, that's Senua Saga Hellblade 2.
As an Xbox gamer, I've heard about this. Kayvon talked about it. Jahan talked about it. You told me you were going to play this when it came out. I have no interest. I don't care. So like you said, is it going to move the needle? Probably not. I don't think I care. I don't think Thomas cares. I really don't think maybe 3/4 of our friends who own an Xbox care at all.
I would almost just I played the first 30 minutes of this game, and the first thing I said to y'all in the chat was, this is not a Gary game. Like, that was just my first thought. Like, Gary would not enjoy this. I'd almost be interested to get your thoughts on it, Gary, not even for how it plays, but just like, what do you think of how it looks and how it feels, like the aesthetic and what it's doing. But I don't think you would get very far into it at all before you'd be like, oh, this is what this is? Nah, I'm out. I'll go back to playing some Forza Races or whatever it may be.
Yeah, dude. I like to play Forza because I can smoke hella weed and then drive cars real fast and nobody gets hurt. It's a good time for everybody.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, so the other game that I wanted to know is Sea of Stars, which it is on Game Pass. It's also part of PlayStation Plus Premium subscriptions, and I've been playing this on my PlayStation via my PlayStation Portal. This is a perfect game for me to play while lying in bed before going to sleep. It is kind of it's a 2023 release. It's like an old school Super Nintendo style RPG, kind of in the like a Chrono Trigger or
it's like a
Golden Sun
turn-based isometric RPG, right?
Yeah, and it has 16-bit era graphics, but it looks actually really pretty. And it plays really well. It's very modern production, but just with that kind of art style. And so it's a perfect game to play handheld in the way that I've been playing it. And so I just wanted to note it because I've been really enjoying it. It actually won at the Game Awards this past year, Best Independent Game.
Yeah. And
so it's been getting a lot of high praise, and I've been wanting to play it. And just like I said, for me, playing this handheld at night, on my PlayStation Portal has been it scratches the itch. Been really enjoying it. So that's Sea of Stars.
Yeah, I talked about this game on the pod a while ago when it first dropped on Game Pass. And yeah, it is a really solid game of that genre with completely modern production values. A lot of cool, like cinematic stuff happens. The combat's smooth. It's a solid RPG. Check it out for sure if you're a fan of the genre. But yeah, that's it for Fresh Games. That's it for everything. All we got left are our Fresh Picks of the Week.
Fresh Picks of the Week.
My favorite thing that I consumed this week, other than soup dumplings, was Bad Boys Ride or Die. Fantastic, really fun. Like, it's not gonna win Oscars or anything, but it is a really good action movie. Very fun, awesome summer movie. Go check it out. Maybe take.
I don't know, I might watch it 20 years down the line and say that it should get Oscars. Who knows?
Who knows, man? You're all over the place.
Yeah, you're going to be like, Nolte's performance as the Sky in Bad Boys 4 deserves an Oscar.
Man, he sounded just like that. That's spot on.
Yeah, my Drew impression's always been good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's no surprise that my fresh pick of the week is also Hulk. No, I'm just kidding. It's Bad Boys.
Oh, man.
No, it's Bad Boys, right? And absolutely. I had a great experience seeing this. I enjoyed the movie. I got to see it with Jahan. Like, I'd say it's like a 7 out of 10 movie, but a 10 out of 10 experience eating dumplings beforehand and seeing this with Jahan.
Hell yeah. Mandate.
Yeah. You guys made it sound so fun. In a first ever, my fresh pick of the week is also Bad Boys 4, even though I have not seen it.
Excellent.
Yeah, you guys have really done a great job. I'm really feeling the whole Martin Lawrence bit. Plus, you're right, Drew. There's just doing things with Jahan makes things better. Earlier, I saw his picture where they're standing next to the like the it's a we're pregnant or whatever the picture is, where you're on one side and Jenny's on the other.
The birth
one.
announcement.
And
yeah.
I screenshotted. Yeah, and I screenshotted you because you're so adorable in that picture. You're just an adorable little guy. And you're the best. Yeah, dude. So that's why I picked Bad Boys 4.
Thanks, guys. This is the first time you guys have ever liked me publicly. That's really nice. I appreciate it. But yeah, so that was Fresh Out the Podcast. You know what? In another life, we actually also had a podcast, the three of us, because we're soulmates.
Yeah, and I was a donkey.
You were the donkey, yeah. We called it the Donkey Show.
Drew beat me.
Drew beat you, absolutely. Yeah, so this was Fresh Out the Podcast. Thanks everyone for listening. Really excited to dive into the Xbox Showcase next week. See what of our predictions came true and what didn't. Very excited. This was a great episode. So thank you everyone for listening. I have been the Board Game Guru, Game Master Extraordinaire Jahananan.
It's me, Casualty City G, Tabletop Titan Podcast Poppy, co-host of Fresh Out the Podcast and Fresh Out the Box. If you like tabletop games, check out Fresh Out the Box TTRPG on our YouTube. You go follow our YouTube. You can see all of our hundreds and hundreds of episodes and thousands of hours of things. Or you can follow us on twitch.tv/Jahananan. We play every Thursday and Friday, pretty much every Thursday and Friday, almost every Thursday and Friday. We do our best. Come by, see us play games, having fun. We're always doing the thing. Thank you guys so much for your time, your attention, and tell people to listen if you liked what you heard.
I am the professional media and movie mastermind, the Funhouse, Drew Munhausen. Are y'all in on The Acolyte? Are we watching The Acolyte, the new Star Wars show on Disney Plus that just premiered tonight?
I wasn't excited, but then I started seeing some stuff. The guy from Squid Games is in it. Trinity from The Matrix is in it. It looks cool. I'm gonna check it out for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking we were maybe going to talk
Disney
about
Plus right now.
Okay, fair enough. Well,
That doesn't mean I can't have it. I don't know. I'll figure this out.
definitely not a requirement. I'll probably try and watch these first 2 episodes before our next pod. But I'm sure the next pod is going to be mostly Xbox Showcase focused. Not to derail here at the end, because this has been episode 125 of Fresh Out the Podcast.
Stay fresh.